Okay, so this is a recording to go over um, the exercise 6.2 or the bubble and block diagrams because the class recording was deleted. So I am just going to open this example file in Photoshop. Quickly here, sorry. There we go. Okay. Okay, so oops. I'm just gonna move that. Let's see. Oh, it didn't paste onto my screen. Okay, I'm just gonna drag and drop the file onto the screen here. Let's see. There it is. All right, now it's here. So now we can use it as kind of a foundation for the exercise, and then also be able to delete it easy and what's the word? Use it for color. Sorry. Okay, I'm just making it a little bit bigger so it fits. I'm gonna actually, I think in class I showed I didn't trace it, but I'm actually going to use these circles and squares as a trace, like to be able to trace them for the assignment. First, I'm going to get the ellipse tool, and you'll see I'm kind of just going to have to guess a little bit here, and then I can rotate it and scale it in place here. This is going to be, that back image might be a little challenging. I'm going to use the nudge tool to kind of get it into place, and then Control T brings up transform. So now I can kind of get it there, and then if you want to change the stroke or anything, you may have to do that when you first select it. Yeah, here we go. The stroke you can change to a thicker kind of line. Maybe I'm going to change it to 2 instead of 1. And then I'll come in here and do another one. And again, I'm just using my, well, will it let me move it? I'm going to use my mouse or my arrow tool to kind of nudge it into place and get it pretty close. So I'll do a couple more here. Just draw this one while I can, while I have the tool up. Then I'll move it. So again, I can select each one and then kind of pick the move function and nudge it into place. So select the ellipse, click the move button, and then I can move it into place. Pretty close there. I might need to make that one just a little bit smaller. If I hold down Shift, I can squeeze it either way. If I don't hold Shift down, it will maintain its aspect ratio. So it's kind of the opposite of everything that we've learned. Now, once you have it all traced, I am actually going to move this out of the way so that I can see what I'm working with here. So I'm just going to leave those all the same, and I'm going to put a new layer underneath all of my ellipses. I want them under because if I put them over, it wouldn't, just when you go to like color it in, then the lines would be underneath the paint. So I'm going to switch to the brush tool here, and I downloaded some Photoshop brushes from a website called Brush Easy. They default to like massive sizes. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it about, this one I'm going to do so it's about the size of my ellipse that I'm trying to fill here. So it's too big. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to do the color picker tool to pick the color. I'm going to do the kitchen, so I'll pick that pink and then go back to my brush, and I can just click in here and it kind of creates that kind of spray effect. That is a little weird shaped, and now it's really out of the borders, so I can go in and erase if I want to. And I have it on block mode, but I'm going to go back to brush mode, and then I want pretty fuzzy. I want a 0% hardness, big brush, so that I can just kind of delete excess sprays without it being like super harsh line. I'm really sorry if you can hear my dog breathing in the background. We just got back from a walk and she is out of breath. Okay, so that is one way to fill your bubble. Another way to do it is to use the paint bucket tool right here. Now, what you want to do is you want to select inside what's inside the ellipse. So I'm going to make sure my contiguous box is checked, and I'm going to just try to select inside this ellipse. It's not going to work because my ellipse is a smart object. So what I need to do in order to select it, I need to rasterize the object. Now this makes it no longer editable. So if I want to, I need to make sure these are exactly how I want them before I rasterize them. So if I right click, I can flatten the image. Oops, I don't want to do that. No. Sorry. Rasterize layer. Here we go. That makes it no longer a smart object. It's actually just lines on the paper now. So now I can go in and select in that bubble. Now I'm going to put my color on a different layer just to keep things, in case I make a mistake or something and I need to erase, I don't have my line work to deal with. It makes it so much easier if you keep things organized and just separate, keep them separated. So now I'm using my color picker to pick kind of a brown, just somewhere in there. I'm going to go back to my paint bucket tool, make sure I'm on the color layer. I should probably rename this bubble color. And then go in and paint bucket fill it. Now it's kind of boring looking. We'll zhuzh it in a little bit. I'm going to actually just merge all of these layers, all my ellipses. They become one single layer, and I can rename this bubble lines. So now I know that's the line work layer for the bubble diagram. Okay, so next I'm going to go and select the green areas, and I'm going to click, and then I'm going to hold shift down and click inside this one. So now I have both of them selected. Go back to the bubble color layer. I'm going to do my color picker again and pick the green, and then do the paint bucket to fill it. Okay, so now, oh look, I've got a little bit of that pink inside my green. That's interesting. I will probably just go to my line work, try to maybe, there we go, now I can fill it. Okay, so if you want to get sort of this like dark and light area, you can go in with the dodge and burn tool, which is located, here we go, under the magnifying glass. Dodge tool creates highlights, and burn tool creates kind of shadows. So I'm going to make my sphere a little bit smaller, and I want the hardness again to be 0. My range, you can pick shadows, midtones, highlights, and then exposure is just sort of like how intense it is. I like to start less intense, and actually maybe I'll make this, I'm going to actually make this bigger. I'm going to make it really big, that big, and then I'm going to go into my bubble lines layer, and I'm going to select just that bubble, go back to my bubble color layer, back to my burn tool, and then I can, you'll see it only burns the content inside that circle. So you can see I can get a nice like shadow on the edge there. I've just clicked a bunch of times. I can do the same thing with the dodge tool, which creates highlights, and make a big, actually I'm going to do more of like a kind of a balloon highlight there. Whatever you want. If you want the larger, fluffier highlight, you can do that too. So you can play around to get sort of just interesting looking areas of color. And again, I would do that regardless of whether you do the paint bucket tool or kind of the paint brush tool. I would edit this one as well. Go in with the dodge and burn and just add some more contrast. Whatever you want to do in there. So that's the Control D deselects. If you've made mistakes and you want to go back and undo things, you can go to this history panel and click. It doesn't save everything. You can see it's only back to where I started using the burn tool, but I can undo quite a bit of damage in one click. So it's pretty nice to be able to use that history function. Let's see, now we need to create these lines in between. So I'm going to go to my shape tool and go to the line tool, and I'm just going to draw a line. Now this is a thick line, so I want to kind of have a strategy here. I have like 2 or 3 different line weights. Usually you have about 3. They indicate the association. So like if it's a thicker line, usually they have a stronger association with one another. So maybe I'm going to make that one 5 pixels. And see how it's showing underneath the color on that one? I'm just going to move it above all the layers and then it shows up nicely. So I'm going to draw all my thick lines because it's going to default to that 5 pixels right now. And then for this one, let's see, these two have a thick line. This one is a thinner line, so now I am going to hit escape to make sure that's no longer selected. Change this to maybe the same that I have my circle outline, and I have it at 2 pixels. Oh, that didn't work. Click it. Come on. Well, let me change it. Okay, we're going to delete it. Try that again. Stroke, I want it to be 2 pixels. Oops. Oh, now it changed that one. What the heck? Okay. This time. Okay. And that's a little big, so I'm actually going to just scale that down a little bit. So it's about where I want it. Okay, so you're going to do all of those, and I'm going to show you how to do text now. So you're going to create a text box within each of these, and it's, for whatever reason, mine defaults to 200. Let's go 20. Okay, and it fills it with lorem ipsum, but I can change the writing, and I'm going to pick a nice black color for the color. And you can also center it in the box and then move your text box around. I can duplicate this layer, right click on the layer and hit duplicate, and then you can just drag the text down. I can rename this dining area. I can also Control C, Control V, which should copy it. No, that didn't. There we go. That one worked. Here it is, and then I can bring it over here. Double click in there. It's also called dining area. Great. Now I would make all of your text the same size. So this is a little bit large, so maybe I would go back and change these to like 18 point, just to fit a little bit better. This. There we go. Come on. Okay, so then you're going to name everything accordingly. That's the bubbles. Now for the block diagram, this one is a little bit tricky as far as getting the lines. Obviously there's a nice square or rectangle tool that you can use for some of these easier ones. But the top one is the only one that you're going to probably want to use like a line work with. There's different ways to accomplish this. You can either use the line tool. I struggled with this one. I can just I hold shift down and draw a line, and it creates a nice straight line, and then do this. Now, last time I did this, it just made it into a single shape, and I couldn't edit these lines individually, and that was kind of annoying to me. So see what that looks like. That's not terrible, but I don't like that. Oh, now maybe he's gonna let me change the lines. Are you gonna let me change them individually? Well, this time it's letting me. So the other alternative for this is, I'm just gonna go back and do the history, back to the rectangle tool, and then I'm going to show you how to do this with the pencil. So I can right click onto the pencil tool. You can only draw it on a line, like on a blank layer. So I'm just going to make a new layer and call this bubble or blocked lines. So I know this is my block diagram line work. And I would probably want to go back and add all of these. Like I would want to rasterize the rectangles that I've created, where they go here, and add them to this line work layer. But if you want to create a pencil, you can click and hold shift down and draw a line, and then release, and then just hold shift down. Keep holding shift, click and release, and then it will draw your lines for you. And then you can use your eraser tool to erase any overlapping edges if you want. So that's another way to do it. You just want to make sure, if you're going to use the paint bucket tool, that all of your lines create a solid corner so that you can go in and use the select tool, create a new layer, call this block color, and then fill it with the brown that you used. You can go to the swatches panel and find the last color of brown. I have the green in here too, and the pink, so you don't have to redo the color selection tool. Or again, you can just come in with the paintbrush and do like fun paint color here. Why are you painting? Oh, because I have it selected. See how it painted in that little corner? So we're going to go Control Z, Control D. I'm on the color layer, so now I can come in here, do my paint, and then if I take my line work and move it to the top of the color. Oh, that's because I don't have the rectangle above there. Here we go. There we go. Now it's nice and looks nice, and then I can take my eraser tool, come in, and now this is nice. You can click, hold shift down. This is the line work layer. There we go. And click, hold shift down, bring my eraser straight down, and then click shift, or click again, and it creates a straight line. Let's try this. So just as an easy way to create that sort of shape. You can obviously judge that how you want, but essentially the goal is to end up with a bubble and block diagram that look very similar to this example right here. You're going to also come in here and edit all of this. You can just click within that text box and it will bring up the option to edit it, and then you're going to file, export, export as, and you're going to want to, I think it says you want to save it as a PDF, but let me just double check here. Okay. I think, yeah, you have to have it as a PDF. So let's see, save as Photoshop PDF. There you go. Mine's going to look crazy because I have the bubble and block diagram. You're going to want to remove that before you export it. Still thinking here. There's my option, save PDF. I should have done that before. You can just turn the layer off and it won't show up when you export it, but there's my PDF, and then you'll turn that in by Wednesday. You've updated everything, removed the example from your sheet, and if you have questions, let us know, but that is the general tutorial.